Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Unless you're a Sigma male, in which case, it's just a temporary inconvenience. Most people get crushed by failure because they treat it like a personal attack, an ego-shattering disaster that leaves them stuck, broken, and questioning their entire existence. But Sigma males? They don't just survive failure, they reverse engineer it, outsmart it, and walk away like they planned the whole thing. Here's a fact: over 90% of startups fail. But the people who keep going, who adapt, pivot, and refuse to stay down, are the ones who ultimately succeed. That's the Sigma mindset. When the world expects them to fall apart, they quietly recalibrate, make a few adjustments, and come back stronger than before, without making a scene. Failure tries to take them down, but it never lands a clean shot. Why? Because Sigma males have cracked the code on how to be bulletproof against setbacks. Today, we're diving into exactly why they never stay down. Number 1, they don't broadcast their losses, or wins. The world thrives on visibility. People broadcast their wins for validation and their losses for sympathy, trapping themselves in a cycle where their every move is subject to public scrutiny. Sigma males don't play that game. They operate in silence, keeping both failures and victories under wraps, making it impossible for anyone to track their progress or predict their next move. This secrecy is their ultimate power. Failure only has weight when people know about it. The moment you announce a setback, you invite opinions, criticism, and judgment, none of which are useful. Sigma males eliminate this problem entirely by making sure no one knows when they fail. If something doesn't work out, they quietly adjust, learn the lesson, and move forward, all without a single soul knowing what just happened. No explanations, no justifications, just pure execution. By the time anyone realizes they've been working on something, it's already a success. This also applies to their wins. While most people feel the need to flaunt every little achievement, Sigma males let their results speak for themselves. They don't waste time convincing the world of their success because they understand something most people don't. The more you reveal, the more you invite sabotage, jealousy, competition, and unnecessary interference. The moment people know too much about your progress, they become obstacles. Sigma males neutralize these risks by keeping everything low-key. They move in silence, making them impossible to sabotage and even harder to predict. This is why failure never truly affects them. It's not just that they recover quickly, it's that no one even knows they fell in the first place. While others deal with the burden of external expectations, Sigma males remain free to experiment, make mistakes, and refine their craft without pressure. You can't attack what you can't see, and you can't stop someone who never reveals their next move. Number 2, they adapt so fast the world can't keep up. Most people stumble when they fail because they need time to process the hit. They sit in shock, replaying the mistake over and over, drowning in self-doubt and wasting precious time trying to make sense of what just happened. Sigma males don't have that problem. Their ability to adapt on the fly is borderline unnatural, so fast that failure barely has time to register before they've already moved on to the next move. They don't sit around licking their wounds or waiting for motivation to kick in. They're already adjusting, strategizing, and 5 steps ahead before the rest of the world realizes there was a setback. This isn't luck, and it's not just resilience, it's how they're wired. They don't treat failure as some dramatic, life-altering event. To them, it's just feedback, a bit of data telling them what doesn't work. No emotions, no overanalyzing, no self-pity, just pure, ruthless recalibration. If something doesn't go their way, they don't throw a tantrum or spiral into despair. They shift gears so fast that even failure itself is left confused. The secret? How they process information. They don't dwell on what went wrong. They extract the lesson, discard the unnecessary details, and immediately start working on a new approach. While most people sit around waiting for the right time to try again, Sigma males are already building a new plan, testing a new strategy, and adapting in real time. There's no hesitation, no second guessing, and definitely no need for validation from others. They move so fast that by the time their critics think they've failed, they've already morphed into something even better. This is why they don't stay stuck. Failure never has a firm grip on them because they never give it a chance to settle. They move so quickly that setbacks become nothing more than brief detours. Their adaptability makes them impossible to break, because no matter what happens, they will always find a way to keep going. And the best part? They do it without making a scene. No dramatic comebacks, no grand speeches, just silent, unstoppable progress. Number 3, they absorb every lesson like a supercomputer. Most people experience failure, but only a few actually learn from it. The rest either ignore the lesson, make the same mistake twice, or let their ego convince them that the failure wasn't their fault. Sigma males don't operate that way. Every setback, every misstep, every obstacle is data, and they absorb it like a supercomputer. They don't just brush off failure and hope for the best. They process it, analyze it, and extract every ounce of useful information from it, so they never have to face the same problem again. This is why failure doesn't defeat them. While most people experience the same struggles repeatedly, Sigma males upgrade themselves with each loss. They don't just move on from failure, they reprogram their approach entirely. If a strategy didn't work, they don't just tweak it, they dissect it, break it apart, and rebuild it with precision. By the time they try again, they're operating on a completely different level, armed with insights others overlook. Most people fear failure because they see it as a personal reflection of their worth. Sigma males see it as raw data, impersonal, unemotional, and purely informational. No self-pity, no excuses, just facts. This allows them to adapt much faster than the average person. They don't waste time feeling bad about what went wrong, they focus on why it happened and how to make sure it never happens again. What makes them different is their ability to retain these lessons permanently. They don't just learn from failure, they integrate the lesson into their mindset, ensuring the mistake is permanently eliminated from their future. This makes them exponentially more effective over time, because every experience adds to their arsenal of knowledge. While others are doomed to repeat history, Sigma males are constantly evolving, getting sharper, smarter, and harder to stop. This is what makes them bulletproof. You can't defeat someone who treats failure as an upgrade. No matter how many times they fall, they rebuild themselves stronger, faster, and more strategic than before. They aren't just resilient, they are designed to adapt. And that makes them impossible to keep down. Number 4, they're too busy moving to dwell on setbacks. Failure loves stillness. It clings to people who pause, overthink, and wallow in what went wrong. The moment someone stops moving, failure wraps around them like quicksand, dragging them deeper into regret, self-doubt, and hesitation. Sigma males don't give failure that chance. They move too fast, adapt too quickly, and keep going so relentlessly that failure becomes nothing more than a momentary inconvenience, barely worth acknowledging. They don't freeze up trying to process what went wrong. They don't waste time dissecting past mistakes to the point of paralysis. They understand that motion is survival. As long as they're moving forward, even by an inch, they are untouchable. The world is full of people stuck in their own heads, obsessing over why something didn't work, replaying their mistakes like a tragic movie on repeat. Sigma males skip that phase entirely. They make their adjustments on the go, keeping their focus on what's next, not what's lost. This isn't about ignoring failure, it's about refusing to give it power. Most people treat failure like an anchor, something that drags them back and keeps them in place. Sigma males treat it like a gust of wind, something they can use to push themselves forward. The faster they move, the less impact failure has. By the time the world realizes they've stumbled, they've already corrected course and are miles ahead. This is why they're impossible to break. They don't stand still long enough for failure to leave a lasting mark. They evolve too fast, recalibrate too often, and work too relentlessly for any setback to truly matter. While others are still caught up in the past, Sigma males have already rewritten the future. Number 5, they always have a backup plan for their backup plan. Most people walk into situations with a single plan, hoping everything works out. When it doesn't, they freeze, panic, and scramble for a solution that doesn't exist, because they never thought beyond their first move. Sigma males don't have that problem. They never rely on just one path to success. If plan A fails, they already have plan B. If that doesn't work, there's a plan C waiting in the shadows. And if everything falls apart? They don't even flinch, because they've already mapped out a way to rebuild from scratch. This isn't luck or paranoia, it's strategic thinking at its highest level. Sigma males operate like chess players, always thinking 5 moves ahead. They don't just react to failure, they anticipate it before it even happens. They study the possibilities, spot the weak points, and prepare multiple escape routes before they even take a step forward. This makes them impossible to corner, because no matter what happens, they always have an alternative. Most people experience failure as a dead end. Sigma males treat it like a redirect, a shift in strategy that was already accounted for. If one opportunity collapses, they simply pivot to another, without missing a beat. They don't waste time crying over what didn't work, because they were never dependent on one outcome to begin with. They don't put all their energy into a single plan, they distribute their power across multiple strategies, making them immune to total collapse. This is why they don't fear taking risks. Most people avoid bold moves because they don't know how to recover if things go south. Sigma males don't hesitate, because they already know how to recover before they even take the risk. They have a contingency for every scenario, a backup for every setback, and a workaround for every possible failure. No matter how unpredictable life gets, they stay ahead of it. You can't defeat someone who has already planned for their own defeat. Sigma males win because they make losing irrelevant. While others are busy figuring out what to do next, they've already executed their next move. That level of preparation makes them untouchable. Number 6, they have no fear of rock bottom. Most people live in fear of hitting rock bottom. The thought of losing everything, status, security, comfort, is enough to paralyze them into playing it safe, avoiding risks, and settling for mediocrity. Sigma males don't have that fear. They've already confronted their worst-case scenarios mentally, over and over, until failure no longer holds any power over them. They've visualized rock bottom so thoroughly that if they ever end up there, it won't be a shock, it'll just be another setting they've already prepared for. This is why adversity doesn't break them. Most people crumble when life strips them of their safety nets. But Sigma males move through hardship like they've been there before, because in their minds, they have. They've already dissected every possible way things could go wrong. They've planned for the setbacks, calculated the risks, and made peace with the absolute worst outcomes. This mental conditioning gives them a level of detachment most people can't comprehend. If they lose it all, they don't panic. They adapt. They rebuild. They move forward like nothing happened. People who fear rock bottom are controlled by it. They hesitate, compromise, and make weak decisions just to avoid the possibility of failure. Sigma males are completely unshackled from that fear, which makes them bold, strategic, and impossible to manipulate. When you have nothing to lose, you become unstoppable. No one can use fear against them, because they've already lived through their worst fears in their heads, and survived. This is why they thrive under pressure. While others are paralyzed by the unknown, Sigma males step into uncertainty like it's home territory. They aren't reckless, they're just mentally armored against disaster. They don't waste energy hoping things will go smoothly, they prepare for things to fall apart and are ready to operate in that chaos. Failure has no leverage over someone who has already accepted it as a possibility, and trained themselves to survive it. While the rest of the world fears the fall, Sigma males have already built a strategy for what comes after. And that's why they never truly lose. Number 7, they don't seek pity or permission. Most people crumble under failure because they crave two things, sympathy and permission. They want the world to acknowledge their struggles, validate their pain, and tell them it's okay to try again. Sigma males have no interest in either. They don't waste time seeking pity, because they know it changes nothing. They don't wait for permission, because they don't need anyone's approval to move forward. They just do. This is what makes them unstoppable. When most people fail, they broadcast it, subtly or outright, hoping for a reaction. They want someone to tell them, it's not your fault, or, you'll get through this. Sigma males don't need external reassurance. They fix their problems in silence, recalibrate their strategy, and move forward before anyone even notices they stumbled. No dramatics. No self-pity. No waiting around for someone to pick them up. They also don't waste energy justifying their decisions. The average person hesitates to bounce back because they're worried about what others will think. Sigma males couldn't care less. They don't ask, they act. If something needs to be done, they handle it, quietly, efficiently, and without unnecessary explanations. They know that seeking approval is just another form of delay, and they refuse to let outside opinions dictate their pace. This mindset makes them immune to stagnation. Failure only keeps people down when they're waiting for someone else to lift them up. Sigma males skip that phase entirely, because they've trained themselves to be completely self-sufficient. If they fail, they analyze, adjust, and execute a new plan, all without making a spectacle of it. They don't ask the world for a green light. They create their own path, and keep moving. You can't defeat someone who refuses to be a victim. Sigma males never hand over control of their lives to anyone, not even for a second. They don't seek sympathy, and they don't ask for permission. They take responsibility. They take action. And they take back control, every single time. Number 8, they don't let pride get in the way of correction. Pride is what keeps most people stuck in failure longer than necessary. They refuse to admit when they're wrong, cling to bad decisions, and let their ego blind them from the obvious truth: something isn't working. Sigma males don't let pride run the show. They have no problem admitting when a plan is failing, cutting their losses, and making adjustments without a second thought. While others waste time defending bad choices just to save face, Sigma males are already refining their next move. This is what makes them untouchable. Failure thrives on stubbornness. The longer someone refuses to correct their mistakes, the deeper they sink. Sigma males move too quickly for that. They are brutally honest with themselves, always willing to reassess, tweak, and even completely abandon strategies if they see they're leading nowhere. This ability to self-correct at lightning speed keeps them ahead of everyone else. They don't take failure personally, because they don't let their identity get tied to their decisions. They are not their mistakes, they are their ability to adapt. When they see a flaw in their approach, they don't waste time justifying it or making excuses. They fix it. Period. No self-pity, no emotional outbursts, no ego-driven meltdowns, just pure, efficient recalibration. Most people struggle with this because admitting a mistake feels like admitting weakness. Sigma males know better. There's no weakness in adjusting, the real weakness is being too proud to change. This is why they're immune to long-term failure, because they don't waste time being wrong longer than necessary. While others are still in denial, Sigma males are already 10 steps into a better strategy. Pride has destroyed empires, careers, and relationships. Sigma males refuse to be one of its victims. They don't argue with reality. They don't let their ego keep them attached to a sinking ship. They drop what's not working, grab hold of what will, and move forward like nothing happened. This ability to correct course instantly is what makes them impossible to take down. They don't just survive failure, they outmaneuver it before it even catches up. Number 9, they thrive on being the underdog. Sigma males don't need a head start or a clear advantage to succeed. In fact, they thrive when they're the underdog, when people dismiss them as unlikely contenders or assume they're no threat. While others are busy looking for shortcuts or waiting for the right circumstances to align, Sigma males flourish in the shadows of low expectations. The more they're counted out, the more dangerous they become. Being underestimated is their fuel. Most people buckle under pressure or fight for attention, desperately trying to prove themselves. Sigma males, however, remain quietly focused, knowing that their true power lies in being overlooked. They don't need validation or recognition to get moving. They understand that the less others expect from them, the more room they have to surprise, outsmart, and dominate, when the time is right. This underdog mentality sharpens their edge. When no one is watching, Sigma males are busy refining their craft, strategizing in the background, and preparing for moments when others are at their most vulnerable. They don't waste energy on proving people wrong up front, they let their actions speak louder than any words ever could. The quieter they are, the more dangerous they become. There's a unique power in being underestimated, because it removes all pressure to perform. People aren't watching, waiting for you to fail. Sigma males can move in silence, adapt quickly, and make significant strides, with no one knowing what hit them. This stealthy approach gives them freedom to make bold moves without the weight of expectation. Most people assume that to succeed, you need to be the front runner, the one who has all the advantages. Sigma males prove that success often comes from the shadows, from the place where no one sees you coming. They don't need to be at the top to win. They just need to be underestimated. And when that happens, the world becomes their playing field. They don't chase the spotlight, they let the spotlight chase them when they've already secured the victory. Number 10, they see obstacles as training, not barriers. Most people face obstacles and see them as barriers to progress, something to avoid or overcome at all costs. They feel defeated by a setback, trapped by a problem that seems too big or too complicated to solve. Sigma males see things differently. They don't view problems as roadblocks, they see them as opportunities for growth, as training grounds that refine their abilities and strengthen their resilience. To them, every failure is just another rep in the gym of life, another way to get better. When a challenge arises, most people freeze up, uncertain of what to do next. Sigma males, on the other hand, embrace the struggle. They don't shy away from difficult situations, they dive into them, knowing that the harder the problem, the greater the reward. Every obstacle is just a puzzle to be solved. Every setback is a lesson in disguise. They thrive under pressure, because they understand that growth only happens in discomfort. If something is hard, it's exactly where they need to be. They don't sit around waiting for an easy path to present itself. Sigma males know that success doesn't come without struggle. The more difficult the challenge, the more they know they're sharpening their skill set. A tough situation isn't something to be avoided or feared, it's something to be used to their advantage. Each problem faced head-on makes them stronger, smarter, and more capable. They don't just get through hard times, they emerge from them better equipped for whatever comes next. This mindset is what sets them apart. While others complain about challenges, Sigma males treat them as training sessions. They aren't afraid to fail, because they know failure is part of the process. It's just another opportunity to learn, adjust, and improve. They understand that every struggle is a chance to level up, and that's why they don't let obstacles hold them back. Rather than seeing problems as things that stop them, they see them as stepping stones that make the journey even more rewarding. Obstacles are not setbacks for Sigma males, they are the workouts that shape them. The mental and emotional exercises that make them stronger every time. Every challenge they face makes them a little tougher, a little smarter, and a lot more capable of handling whatever the world throws at them next. Number 11, in a world that crumbles under failure, Sigma males stand unshaken. Unrivaled by setbacks. Untouched by judgment. Unstoppable in their pursuit of growth. They don't seek pity, approval, or the luxury of easy victories. Instead, they turn every obstacle into an opportunity, every failure into a lesson, and every challenge into a stepping stone toward their next triumph. They understand that true strength is not in avoiding failure, but in mastering the art of resilience, recalibration, and relentless progress. What sets them apart is their ability to move silently and powerfully, always 3 steps ahead, transforming struggles into strategies and scars into battle plans. They thrive in the shadows, not because they fear failure, but because they know failure is simply the training ground for something greater. With every misstep, they refine their craft. With every blow, they rise higher, stronger, and more focused on their ultimate goal, mastery over their own destiny. So while the world watches from the sidelines, wondering why they seem untouchable, the Sigma male continues to move with purpose, turning his experiences, both good and bad, into the sharpest weapon of all, unshakable, unparalleled resilience. When others break, he builds. When they fall, he rises. Failure is just another word for progress in his world. And that's what makes him bulletproof. Number 12, they turn every scar into a strategy. Most people carry failures like dead weight, crushed by regret and self-doubt. Sigma males don't dwell on pain, they weaponize it. Every betrayal, setback, or defeat gets dissected, analyzed, and turned into ammunition for their next move. Failure? A case study in what not to repeat. Betrayal? A lesson in trust and self-reliance. Setbacks? Fuel for relentless improvement. While others wallow in the past, Sigma males are already plotting their comeback, stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. Their scars aren't wounds. They're blueprints for victory. Conclusion, the Sigma male's unbreakable code. Failure doesn't break a Sigma male, it builds him. While others collapse under setbacks, he learns, adapts, and evolves. Every scar becomes a lesson, every loss a strategic pivot, and every obstacle a stepping stone. He doesn't fear failure, he masters it. Because in the end, his greatest strength isn't avoiding defeat. It's making sure every fall propels him higher than before. If you found value in what you just read, don't let it stop here. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss another powerful insight into the mind of the Sigma male.